Well, last weekend, Bremer scored his 15th and 14th career Serie A goals by a header, the most by a defender, by the way, in the top 5 leagues since 2019-2020. And in just 13 matches, Bremer, he's already scored 3 goals and had 2 assists in the Italian top flight. In the last 2 seasons with the Bianconeri, this is where Juventus look with and without him, because let's not forget he was out for quite some time with an injury. But the bottom line is Juventus was conceding less and scoring more with Bremer than without. I think Nigel, welcome back, by the way, Troy and Nigel. I think this is no surprise, is it, when you see the numbers, but just the stark difference is really shocking with and without Bremer, which just shows how much he means to this side.
Yeah, massive. And it's not just the numbers and how effective he is when he is playing for Juventus. Yes, aerially, he's a fantastic player. You talk about defensive responsibilities, knows how to defend, but can also be a threat for you, a weapon in opposition box. It's the fact he's a leader. That's what you need to pay attention to. That's the biggest thing. That is what you call a real leader. And him coming back makes such a big difference. It breeds confidence to the rest of your teammates when you've got someone like that you just know that's a leader, that's someone that I'd follow and go to war with. That's the biggest impact.
Yeah, 100% what Nigel just said there. I think when you've got, even as a coach, when you look and you know that's your main centre-back there, it's kind of whoever you put around him. I think we've looked at like the likes of Lloyd Kelly and people like that. They're trying to be. Koopmeiners, your favourite person, all trying to be centre-backs. When you've got a real leader at the back there, he can organise it. He can kind of make up for the deficiencies that you have with other people around him.
Tactically, Grell, as well. It's not just what he does defensively, but it's also on the other box as well, how good he is. What have you got tactically on him?
Yeah, the 3 goals he scored this season were from attacking set pieces, so he's a threat there. But what I want to talk about and look at is that last graphic we saw, why Juventus win more games. They win more games because they're able to commit more numbers in the opponent's edge, knowing that this ball is coming back the other way every time. There's this suffocation that he adds that other teams, he doesn't allow other teams out. And these 3 clips are going to show that they aren't able to commit 7, 8 Juventus shirts forward because they know, as he's the deepest man here, they know here, this ball's coming back this way. And then they know it's a game about second balls here because they know he's winning the first one. Always makes contact, always puts the striker in a difficult game. Again, you're going to see a very similar clip here where Juventus are high up the pitch. Monaco, in this example in the Champions League, are sort of pinned down, right? So look at the numbers that allow them to be pinned down. They know they can do this because they got this right here. You can't get out of defending when you have this guy. And by the way, we talk about pressing the other team and suffocating the other team. He's 73 yards from his own goal. Normally, back in the day, a center back would sit on the halfway line or even 10 yards behind the halfway line. Because he's so physical and because he's so powerful, his timing is so good, his anticipation is so good, he's so great in the air, they're able to pin back teams and take more risks that other teams can't do when Bremer is in the lineup. He's 80 yards from his own goal here, right? So modern day football, but you need athleticism, you need power, you need understanding of the game to be in these sort of situations. And he always makes it a nightmare. You see here, they just got them pinned. This is Parma, who actually, most times, actually not a great example because they pin themselves in the back. But watch this, as this play gets fast forward and it's going to swing back around, Juventus able to hang out in Parma's end. And you're going to see an anticipation now from Bremer. You're going to see, first of all, where he starts, how he's on the wrong side of the attacker. And then you're going to see, as this ball comes out, he reads the play, steps in front, knocks it down. And now Parma are forced to defend for another 30 seconds, another 45 seconds. And this makes it difficult for teams over the course of 90 minutes. Again, just to reference the distance he is from his own goal. This makes it very difficult for teams to get out, and it makes it very difficult for teams to feel like they have a moment in the game because they can't breathe because Bremer's always clamping them in that spot, in that space.
There was 2 parts as well. On the first clip, as he's building up, he's the one setting the press as well, so you can see the rest of the defensive line go up, and then as it gets put back, he's already dropped off because he's anticipating what's coming, gives himself the space to go and attack the header. But on that second clip with Monaco, as the ball comes up, you see Balogun just go, oh no. Yeah. And that's when you know, as a defender and a defensive team, we've got you now, because every time that ball comes up, they know he's coming. It brings fear. It brings that element of, right, what do we do now differently? And it makes other teams change the way that they play. So very good Grella vision yet again.
I appreciate it. And I agree with Troy. Sorry, Nash. I agree with Troy in that even when he can win it, he always leaves a little extra on you, like the best defenders do. So when you play in that forward position, you're normally facing your own goal. You know he's going to win it, and he's also going to come through the back of you a little bit so that it's clean, but it hurts. And then in the next play, you're going to be like, where is he? Where is he coming from? And it's going to make you think. And I think he's one of the best at that.
He's like a Rolls Royce. You could put whatever numpty in it and they'll still look good in it. So you could put whatever next to him and look good.
He's so good at reading the game.
You're allowed to call people numpties, aren't you?
It's Nigel's rules. We're all just on
He's got no more rules. He's got no more rules. Last week he cursed. Then he sneezed. Told Bobby to shut up.
123 days to go until the World Cup here in America. Speaking of Bremer, this is a look at Brazil's centre-back options. We're talking about him so highly with Juventus and in Serie A being one of the best players in Serie A. But unfortunately for him, the country where he's from, Nigel, has so much depth at his position. Do you think we'll see him feature for Brazil in America?
I think there's a big possibility. I think with Bremer now, you'd have to say it depends on injuries as we build up to the World Cup. But I definitely think he will be very highly regarded in the World Cup squad. But he has got a few players that will be ahead of him. I'll probably say I look at Gabriel and Marquinhos there as the main two, and then Danilo as well. Militao still.
Injuries, isn't it?
There's quite a few, but I'd have to say if there's injuries, yes. And it's just, he's a luxury player that definitely you'd love to have waiting in the wings or another option to pick.
And it's great again for Juventus as well, because now this will be on his mind. He's got to play, try to be as fit as possible. I think on there he gives you he's the closest to Gabriel in the sense of, yes, he's physical and he defends, but offers you that threat from set pieces as well, which may work in his favour. So for him, it's about staying fit now and being reliable for his national team.
Juventus first.
Part of the squad, yeah, and he makes the big difference for Juventus. But he's definitely in the squad for me because he's like he's a tool that you need. I don't think he starts in with that line of that roster of players that he has. The one Achilles heel is with the ball. With the ball, he's not. You wouldn't know he's Brazilian when he has the ball at his feet.
More
and
Italian.
That's something that he has to. More Italian, I would say.
He's so good aerially, though, isn't he? Obviously, when he gets in the boxes, and like we've seen him be such a big threat on set pieces. He was such a huge part. He was so missed, Grella, when he was away with Juventus when he had that injury.
Yeah, and again, on that list I thought was interesting was Danilo. Danilo was very similar to him because a Brazilian leader in the group, physical, he brought that. He's like a newer, more young, powerful version of Danilo. So Juventus have always gone after these types of center backs that have been dominating in the past, like Chiellini, Barzagli, and these types of guys. So he fits what the DNA, the culture is in Juventus as well.
It's also appreciating him because there's not too many players with his kind of personality and presence that like Troy said, if you're a manager or coach, you will trust him with whoever you put next to him, that you know that he will be the one that makes that person next to him have a good game and have that responsibility. Players like him are a dying breed in the modern game, that they can just go in, do their job, solid, physical, have that personality, willing to take that responsibility. Yeah. And that's what he does.
He's the first name on the team sheet, isn't he, if not one of them? Just very quickly then, so yes or no, Brazil this summer, does he start for them in the World Cup? You said no, Grell.
No.
Nige, where do you fall?
Doesn't start, no.
No, he doesn't start, but he goes.
You all agree that he'll be there?
Yeah.
In the US this summer.